I'm going to show you how to record the acoustic guitar in your home studio to sound like this. A little preamble first, just a little bit to give you any pre-context that you might be interested in to understand what type of microphone can you use or should you use? Should you use a dynamic microphone to record acoustic guitar, or you should use a condenser microphone? Easy answer, you can use both. I typically will record the acoustic guitar with a condenser microphone in this room. Why might you want to record with a condenser microphone? The condenser microphone can capture the sound of the room you're in, so it's nice to capture a bit of that ambiance from the room. Now, a dynamic microphone might be better if you're recording in a noisy room. For example, dynamic microphones are used to pick up the sound from amps for live performances. But also dynamic microphones can capture the detail if you want to mic it up close to get the finger picking sound or the nice low end or mid range of an acoustic guitar too. So they're both right. I'm just going to show you a couple different mics you can use. Any condenser microphone. This is a Rode NT1A microphone that I have used many times on the acoustic guitar. It sounds very bright, sounds very crisp. I love the buzzwords for sound. In this video, I'll be using the Neumann TLM 103 microphone. Boop. You can also use the Shure SM7B. You've likely seen this type of microphone. I'm speaking through it right now. It has a great mid-range and warmth to it. The TLM also has a nice mid-range, but really nice top end to this microphone, which is why I want to use this microphone. I'm going to be doing a mono recording setup with my acoustic guitar. What that means is I'm only using this one microphone to record the guitar. However, I will end up having the result of a stereo track recording as you just listened to. That's because I'm recording the exact same take twice using the same position, environment, and setup with this microphone. So first thing, let's talk about microphone setup. I'll find that comfortable position where I like to play the acoustic guitar sitting down, and then I'll begin the setup from there. I won't do it backwards. So I'm sitting down, playing the guitar. Okay, where do I want to mic up the guitar being in this position? Now, the rule of thumb to mic an acoustic guitar is to go to the 12th fret and go to about 12 inches off the 12th fret. That should be your starting point for acoustic guitar tone. So start there, navigate to the 12th fret of your acoustic guitar, and then move away 12 inches and point the microphone directly at the 12th fret. Now, if you want more low end, you can point the microphone towards the sound hole of the acoustic guitar. That's where all the low energy comes from. If you point it directly at the sound hole, it's going to sound too low. If you want more high end, fingery picking stuff, you point it towards more of the neck and you get more of the fingers. If it's too close to the 12th fret, you're not going to record enough of the room. Like if I'm really close to the microphone like this, you can hear my voice right in your ear. When I back away from the microphone, I'm getting the context of the room. You start understanding where I'm coming from, and it gives you just a more pleasurable experience, in my opinion. So within those starting points, try, it doesn't have to be 12 inches. You could try 10, you could try 20. 20 might be too much, but you have the flexibility to move the microphone around a little bit to get that result of what you want your acoustic guitar to sound like. But that should be your starting point to record the acoustic guitar. I'll be using the UAD console to do this, but I'm also going to quickly right after show you how to do it in Logic if you're not using the UAD console. So within the UAD console, UAD Universal Audio, I'm using a Neve 1073 preamp. So this is very similar to a gain knob on your audio interface where you would increase the gain to get that peak value of your recording at that -8. That's what I would aim for if I were you. A couple things we have to do before we get set up. For those just beginning, I'm quickly going to go through this. You'll need to set your input correctly for your audio interface. So I'm going to go down to input and select input number 2. That's how I set up my microphone with my audio interface. It doesn't mean that yours would be 2. It could be very well that yours likely is 1. Then I'll set my output as being the stereo output, and then I'll record, enable my track. At this point, you'll just start playing your acoustic guitar through your microphone to see where your peak value will be on your track. So see how it says -25 here? We're going to want that number to peak at around -8. So if you're recording an entire track from start to beginning, choose the loudest part where you want to set that gain. When all this is set up, a couple more things you're going to want to do is likely you'll want to play to a click, a metronome, or let's say you might maybe have a whole track prepared here. Just play with the track. Besides that, you will want to turn the sound to your monitor all the way to 0, and you'll want to have the playback running through or the click running through your headphones because you're recording with a microphone and it's going to pick up any sound around it. Make sure your headphones don't have too much bleed to them. This is the time where you're going to want to have a go at the recording now. Listen back to the take right away. What does it sound like? Am I getting too much of the room? Am I not getting enough of the room? Does it sound too boomy? Does it like too low? Is it there too much high end? There's not enough warmth to the sound. Your answers to these questions are going to determine where you should move the microphone a little bit. And if you don't know the answers to these questions, I would suggest just start moving the microphone around a little bit to test what happens when you move the microphone around. You're going to want to get comfortable with knowing what different positions you should put the microphone to get desired results in your recordings. If you don't want to be recording, listening back, you can do something called monitoring as well, where you can actually just hear what's happening from the microphone right through your headphones. I suggest doing this as well. If you're not using a high quality audio interface, then you will likely have some sort of latency through your microphone, which means that the sound is going to be delayed before it hits your headphones in your ears. If you're using an Apollo interface with the UAD console, there's 0 latency. So you can just kind of get set up in that comfortable position with your guitar and have your headphones on and just be playing. And it can be done in real time, which is very beneficial. The other thing is the acoustic guitar is such a sensitive instrument that tone can come in a variety of areas. It's not just necessarily the processing or just the mic setup. It's how you play the instrument as well, whether you're picking with fingers, whether you're using like a guitar pick. So keep in mind, like try using a pick. And if that's just too bright, try using your fingers instead. You have a little bit of flexibility there. You'll notice here when I pan one left, one right, it's going to sound really wide, but it's going to sound more or less the same because I spent a lot of time getting the right takes to make sure that those parts are playing the same thing. Thanks for sticking around. If you want to just learn a little bit about processing, I'll show you right now. I will do a bit of EQ, taking a bit of low end out, looking for any mud in the low end, looking in this range between 150 to 300, any boominess that might come on, and then some harshness that might be involved in the guitar. Maybe considering doing a bit of a brightness boost as well. But other than that, it's not too much there in the EQ. I'd like to capture the tone of the natural instrument just coming off the recording. After the EQ, I'll do some light compression using any type of compressor. We can use a Logic compressor. I'm just looking for a bit of consistency there in the signal from this compressor. After that, you can process a bit more. I'll put it in a room at this point using some reverb. Love to know your thoughts of this video. Here's another one where you can watch right here. And as always, guys, it means a lot if you stick around and subscribe. As always, I'll see you in the next video.